Our first meeting of the day is the Planning and Economic Development Committee. Those committee members are Fusco, Kamer, Connor, Baylor, and Mosley. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. We'd like to begin the Planning Committee meeting of Akron City Council. Roll call, please.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer.
Aye.
Connor. Baylor.
Aye.
Mosley.
Aye.
All committee members are present.
Thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion we accept the minutes of the previously held meeting.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. Line one. Very good. We have two items that are up for a public hearing today. And the procedure is that we will receive a report from the planning department in reference to the proposals. We will then open up the public hearing for those that wish to speak in favor, and then for those that wish to speak against. However, I want to preface it with this, and that is, if anyone is here to testify, they're going to be asked to testify, to be sworn in from a representative of our law department. So, and then we'll open up the public hearing portion, receive comments, close the public hearing, open up for comments or questions from committee members, and then we'll move into council members if they have any questions or comments relative to the proposed, the conditional, or the public hearing. I think that covers all the ground rules. We are, however, though, the only difference between today and tomorrow is that, I mean today and tonight, is tonight what we'll do is the committee will make a recommendation to all of council in terms of favorable, against, or take time to table an item. But aside from that, we'll basically replicate those procedures this evening as well. So if anyone's here to speak this afternoon, they're always welcome and encouraged to come back tonight at 7 o'clock. Thank you. So with that, the first item that's up for a public hearing is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an addition to a medical marijuana cultivation facility at 1956 South Main.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Midwest Development Projects, LLC, doing business as Galenas, is requesting conditional use approval to construct an addition to the building. In June of 2017, Galenas received conditional use approval to construct a roughly 10,000 square foot, two-story medical marijuana cultivation facility. The addition will be behind the existing building, which has a unique modernistic form and would be constructed of non-combustible materials with white metal siding to match the existing building. The addition will consist of a single-story portion. It's approximately 90 feet long. West of that portion, that's to the rear of the building, and west of that portion, the area containing active growing plants will be approximately 90 feet long as well and 46 feet tall to accommodate plants on multiple tiers of interior racks. 16 paved off-street parking spaces with a 5-foot in width landscape buffer will continue to be sited in front of and along the north side of the building. The site will undergo major stormwater management upgrades, including a new detention basin on the west end of the property. Space has been allocated between the detention basin and the proposed addition for a potential future expansion. Exterior lighting will be provided around the perimeter of the addition. Galenas will continue to operate the facility in its current manner. Air intake and exhaust is controlled through mechanical ventilation. Security measures include video and alarm monitoring, digital key access, and a secured vault. Galenas states they are the only fully organic cultivator in the state, providing the absolute highest quality medicine to Ohio's patients. Their state-of-the-art building was awarded Green Building of the Year in 2019 by the Architects newspaper for the entire United States. Petitioner currently employs 21 full-time staff members and 8 part-time staff members. Anticipates adding an additional 10 employees to their production team. Proposed medical marijuana cultivation addition to this property would be appropriate and welcomed along the rejuvenated South Main Street business corridor. Since all the processes associated with the cultivation of medical marijuana will continue to be conducted indoors, the use will not be intrusive to neighboring properties. Office of Integrated Development, Planning Staff, and Planning Commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Mr. Antonucci. I'd like to ask a representative from our law department, please swear in any individuals that may be here that wish to testify before the committee. Reference the conditional use request in 1956 South Main Street. If there's anyone here wishing to speak or before the committee during public hearing, please stand and be sworn in.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? If so, please respond by saying I do. I do. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now open up the public hearing portion of the conditional use request and ask if there's anyone here wishing to speak in favor of 1956 South Main Street. If you can please provide for the committee your name and address, we appreciate that and welcome.
Hi, my name is Ian Jones, and I'm an architect with MPG Architects, which is at 3660 Embassy Parkway in Fairlawn. And we are the architect for Galenas. Jeff Korf, the CEO of Galenas, actually just gave me a call and said he had an emergency so he couldn't attend to this meeting. But I'm here to answer any questions, and I think the summary by Mr. Antonucci is accurate. It is an addition behind the current facility, and it's kind of expanding on their current production, and it fits in with the South Main Street corridor becoming more of an industrial area. So they're looking at about 10 new jobs with this addition, and they're looking to capacity for what they can grow will be probably initially about 2 times more than what they have right now. But all within the state license that they were awarded. So, but if there are any other questions, yeah, I'm here to answer.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak in favor of the conditional use request here on South Main Street? Anyone else? Anyone wishing to speak against? Anyone? Very good. We'll close the public hearing and now open it up to any questions or comments from any of the committee members at this time. I see Mr. Kamer's hand is up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to rise in support of this addition, Galenas, and Jeff, the owner, has been a great neighbor right down there on South Main Street. As you drive down South Main, north and south, it's a great addition. The building fits in real nice, and the landscapes par. I mean, it's a really nice place, and they've been great neighbors since they first originally came to us. So I just wanted to let the committee know that I support this addition, and hopefully everything moves forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Kamer. Is there any other committee members have any questions or comments? Any council persons have any questions or comments at this time? Very good. We'll now move on to the next item. Thank you for showing up this evening, and hope all is well with the emergency. And you're invited back this evening at 7 o'clock, where the committee will then make a recommendation to all of council this evening at 7. Thank you. Thanks. The next item that's up for public hearing is the ordinance amending, supplementing Title 15, Chapter 153, Zoning Code, Section 153, Class UPD 33 District, to allow limited access to West Bath Road and Ascot Industrial Park. Mr. Antonucci.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. The city administration is requesting a zoning code text change to allow for limited vehicular access to West Bath Road from Ascot Industrial Park. The industrial park is zoned UPD 33, which currently states that no vehicular access is to be permitted to or from Bath Road to serve the development. The administration has received numerous communications from the businesses within Ascot Industrial Park regarding the periodic traffic congestion at peak times. The single point of ingress and egress at State Road, although signalized, is insufficient at times to adequately move the employee traffic. In order to help alleviate the situation while recognizing the desire to limit heavy volumes of industrial traffic on Bath Road, the administration intends to allow the limited vehicular traffic onto West Bath Road by extending Ascot Parkway south from the cul-de-sac with a single lane for outbound car traffic only, and curving the intersection to prevent left turns onto Bath Road. This will allow employees a secondary means of leaving at shift change times while still restricting freight truck traffic to State Road. Additionally, emergency ingress and egress will be possible via the new drive for police, fire, and paramedic equipment. The Office of Integrated Development, Planning Commission, and Planning staff recommend approval of the proposed text change. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Antonucci, for that report. At this point, we'll ask if there's anyone here or online that wishes to be sworn in from a representative of our law department. No one signed up. No one signed up. Ask if there's anyone. There's no one. However, though, what we'll do is open up the public hearing, ask if there's anyone wishing to comment. Seeing none, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing portion of this, and now we'll open up the questions from any committee members at this time. I do suspect one council member may have some comments. Ms. Holland?
Thank you very much, Chairman Fusco, and thank you, Mr. Antonucci. The story of the emergency exit onto West Bath Road from Ascot is evidently a lengthy one that predates my arrival on City Council. Upon learning that there was a plan proposed to turn this from a strictly emergency exit into now a right turn only exit for employees and others, I expressed concerns on behalf of residents who live across the street, across West Bath Road, from this particular proposed exit. Did communicate with the most immediately affected residents, even though statutorily they are not proximate enough to have received any kind of official notice. All were given an opportunity to ask questions. The principal question was, will this be truly a right turn only exit for the foreseeable future? I received I think sincere representations from key members of the service department indicating that that is the immediate future plan for this, that of course in 10 years or more the need could be different, but based on those assurances, these residents who were very, very concerned about potential headaches in this particular area, the residents were satisfied. And if that's still the case, Mr. Antonucci, if you know, or if there's anybody else here today who can weigh in on that, I would say that good to go.
Yes, that is yeah, so there will be right turn only, will be signaled that way, signed that way. It's actually built that way as a swooping right turn, so single lane, 12 feet wide, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holland. Mr. Antonucci, so if there would be a move afoot, say 10 years from now, to make it accessible turning left, say, out of Ascot, would that take an act of council?
It would. We would need to actually amend the text again to allow that to happen, because it is pretty specific in this text language.
Very good. I suspected as much. I just wanted to hear it from the administration. That coupled with, I think the impetus, and I don't know if it was in your report or not, I was looking down, but for this is in fact the volume of traffic that's on State Road that occurs during, I think you didn't mention this, the shift change. And this is also, I think it's going to be important to note that this is not, trucks are going to be excluded from this, and it's only going to be for vehicular departure from, for lack of a better term, from the exiting Ascot. So, okay, very good. Well, we will have an additional public hearing this evening as well, and then the committee will make a recommendation. Okay, very good. We'll move on to the balance of the agenda, of which I'm going to recommend time, excluding number 4. This is the ordinance approving the 2022 Consolidated Action Plan. We did have a public hearing on this, and I was curious if there was any questions or comments, and to see if council's comfortable after having some time to review in terms of moving forward on this. This is our annual action plan in reference to the CDBG, community development, the home investment partnership, the ESG, So with that, if there's any questions or comments at this time. And Helen Tomic is here to answer questions, should there be any. I'm not seeing any questions or comments. We've had some time again to review this. With that, I'm going to ask for a recommendation for suspension of the rules with a favorable report. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you very much. I'm going to recommend that we take time on the balance of the agenda.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Number 5 is the dedication plat for the Ascot Parkway that we had just talked about.
Yes, sir.
So that's up for, yeah, so that we have that plat here for consideration.
Okay. Well, I would guess that we're going to need to probably move on the zoning change first and then deal with that. We could certainly, if you have some comments that you'd like to make on that, certainly welcome those.
Well, yeah, just that we have the dedication plat that needs to be accepted by council, which is actually, it allows that to be open.
Does it need to be done simultaneously, or?
Not necessarily. It's up to council, obviously, to.
Gotcha. Yeah, we can wait for the report from this evening, and then I assume if there would be a desire to move forward, we'd have to pull the committee, correct? Thank you for bringing that forward. We will call that temporary time. Very good. We're going to move on to the new list of legislation next, of which I believe is item number 3. Where are we? There we go. 3, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a mixed-use development within the White Pond Office Park on the west side of White Pond Drive and South Frank Boulevard. Mr. Antonucci, to refer. Thank you. All those in favor of referring signify by saying aye. The ayes have it. Thanks, everybody. Okay, item number 5, ordinance accepting the eligibility report for the amended White Pond Drive, Frank Boulevard Urban Renewal Area, approving the amended White Pond Drive, Frank Boulevard Urban Renewal Area Renewal Plan and making necessary findings in connection therewith.
Let's refer this as well, please.
Okay, thank you. We also have that up for a public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 6 is the ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an apartment development at 1793 South Arlington Street. This is also up for a public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks. The ayes have it. 7, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an addition and parking at 560 East Talmadge. This is also up for public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. 8, ordinance authorizing conditional use to establish a Type A daycare home at 350 Grand Avenue. This too is up for a public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. 9, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into and execute agreements between the City of Akron, Highland Square Economic Development, LLC, Highland Square Mustard Seed Market, LLC, Highland Square Markets, Limited Liability Corporation, Square Deal Market, LLC, and other entities in order to amend and or modify the existing transaction that resulted in the development of the existing Mustard Seed Market grocery store in Highland Square.
Good afternoon. That was a handful to say. No, we are looking at, back when we did the mustard seed development, I think it was around 2013, 2014, when we entered into the agreements and started that project. It resulted in a lease of the property from Mustard Seed. We are looking at making some amendments to that lease agreement and the purchase option agreements We will be getting to you by week's end a memorandum detailing what changes we are looking at making. So at this point, we're asking that you refer the legislation, and ideally we can talk about it, and you guys can get us questions based on that memorandum in plenty of time for the 11th, the meeting on the 11th.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Ask if there's any questions at this time. We're going to be referring this from anyone. No, hearing no one. Very good. I'd like to hear a motion to refer this item.
Motion to refer. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. The ayes have it. Item 10 is an ordinance approving the sale of city-owned property pursuant to the city's land reutilization program in order to facilitate the productive reuse of the property and to reduce the cost to the city and taxpayers in maintaining vacant lots. Very good, thank you. Any questions or comments? Hey, is the consent agenda okay on this item? Yes. Very good. Is there a recommendation for consent agenda? Is there a second? Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thanks. Number 11 is the ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee without the formality of advertising for bids to enter into a contract or contracts with Sachs Consulting and Investigative Services Incorporated for security services at Lock 3 Park.
Yes, hi, again. So we did do bids earlier in the year for security at Lock 3. The lowest bidder was an outfit out of Maryland, and we entered into a contract with them. The service was unsatisfactory. Lock 3, they did not provide enough staffing and management and the like. So we want to go with the company that was at the time the second low bidder for the Sachs, or a local, and we're looking for permission to do that.
Thank you. Very local, and the attachment did indicate that there's a sense of urgency,
Yes,
I assume, with this as well.
Yeah, I mean, we want them there Friday night, so if we could get
And some of the
emergency
problems,
passage.
some of the problems we encountered as well with the previous company.
Yep.
So, yeah, understandable. Is there any questions or comments from anyone? How much over the budget is this? You'd
Well,
mentioned it.
I think the original was about $40,000, and they're about $50,000. We've also asked for another $10,000 towards potentially other activities, other summer recreation activities that they would be able to, in case we can't get police overtime or at the pools, that they would be able to fill in at
For
certain
security
events as well. Yep.
Gotcha. Very good. Questions or comments? I would say this is obviously, seeing how we're in the throes of summer, that we should move quickly on this, and I appreciate to bringing this to our attention, and we definitely want to make sure we're all safe. So, any questions or comments? I'm going to recommend a motion for suspension of the rules of the favorable report. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks. The ayes have it. Thank you. 12. This is a resolution establishing the honorary designation of a section of Covington Road between Hampshire Road and Chatham Road as, am I saying that, Helen Mitten Way? Is that correct, Helen, with two L's? Okay. Thank you. I know the sponsor is here, Mr. Malik, in reference to this, so the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and really glad to be here. I have been working on this for a number of years in honor of one of our late residents of Ward 8, Helen Mitten, who was born in Pennsylvania. Her family moved to Kenmore when she was very young, and she lived for many years on Covington Road in Ward 8, and her son reached out to me early on in 2020 and wanted to, share some of his memories and reflections of his mom and see if there was a way that the city could honor her. And it's been wonderful learning about her life. She, with her first husband, Nick Windsor, helped start the Rubber City Open, which became the World Golf Championship Bridgestone Invitational at Firestone Country Club. She also worked for many years assisting University of Akron students to the point where, although she never graduated from college, she was awarded a Distinguished Alumni Award at the University of Akron. And she also worked for many years volunteering in schools and in hospitals, and also was very well known for her yard and getting recognition from Keep Akron Beautiful. So have worked with Mr. Antonucci and Mr. DeShazer with the administration and appreciate their efforts in putting this together. And I think this is a small way in which we can recognize someone who made an impact here in our community. So happy to take any questions or comments.
Thank you. So within the legislation here, this is the honorary designation, meaning it would be...
So the legal name of the
Right.
street is not going to change, to my understanding. This is, in line with what we've done in other areas. And so it will just be a block of the street, and there will be, kind of a small sign that's above the street sign.
So you work with the you mentioned the planning department, and they've checked off and said that it's...
Yes, and
Okay.
I believe Mr. Antonucci's here, can certainly weigh in, but this was a model that we used from a previous ordinance, I think, on Barges Street. So.
Very good. Questions or comments? Is there a rush? Is consent agenda, or would you like to move?
No,
quicker,
happy
or-
to put it on consent agenda, and just want to thank the council. One last note is that I particularly appreciate this because my mom was also named Helen, so that's
Oh, with two L's?
with one L, and so
One-
that's where
My Helen's got one L.
Exactly. So I know.
That's what drew my attention to was H-E-L-L-E-N, so
But
I'm
as
gonna
someone-
remember that whenever I write my birthday card to my wife.
Exactly. As someone who is the son of a mom named Helen, who I appreciated very much, I appreciate this other son, seeking this recognition on his mom's behalf. So.
Very good. It sounds like this person had a full life. Very good. I'd like to ask if there's a recommendation for consent agenda. Is there a second? Is there a second? Second. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those against?
Can I do a roll call on that, Mr. Chair? I'm not sure I heard everyone.
Absolutely.
Fusco?
Aye.
Kamer?
Aye.
Connor? Baylor?
Aye.
Mosley?
Aye.
Thank you. It passes 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, very good. With that, put on consent agenda for next meeting. With that, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Our next committee of the day will be the Parks and Recreation Committee. That will begin at 1:45. Those committee members are Lombardo, Mosley, Malik, Neal, and Connor. Again, that's the Parks and Recreation Committee, and it will begin at 1:45. Thank you.